Hi and welcome to today's video. I know there's been a bit of a gap between this video and the last video, but you know, stuff happens, life, change jobs, etc. But we're going to get on with it today, and we're back in OnShape. We're continuing the Learn CAD series, and what we're going to do today is some bit more advanced stuff. Last time we did extrudes and revolves, pretty cool, but we can do more stuff than that. So we'll just jump straight to the OnShape window and we'll get on with it. So here we are in the OnShape window, and it looks exactly the same as we left it. There has been a couple of updates, but you know, to us it looks exactly the same. We've got our three start planes and our origin. You know, they're the bits of paper that we draw on. That's how we do it. And today we're going to look at doing some sweeps, some lofts, some fillets, some chamfers, and something called shell. There are other things you can look at, like hole and draft and rib and thicken, but we're not going to look at them. I'll let you kind of like mess with them yourself to figure out how they are. OnShape have their own YouTube channel. It's pretty good. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to be sketching and then applying features to it as we've done in the past. Right, so let's say we wanted to do a sweep. What does a sweep do? Well, if you imagine a piece of pipe, you have like the shape of the pipe and then you have the track of the pipe. So what I'm going to do on this top plane, I'm just going to sketch a circle, and I'm literally just going to sketch it like that. I'm not bothered about the dimensions, and that's going to be our first sketch. You can see there it says sketch 1. And then we're going to sketch another sketch before we do a feature, because most of these features need two sketches. Well, these features do anyway. So I'm going to sketch on the front plane, and I'm going to start the origin again, but I'm going to use one of these spliny type curves. So we just hit that, and then we just move up and round and do all sorts of crazy stuff, and then we press escape to end it, and then we press the tick. So now if we rotate that around, you can see we've got a circle and we've got a weird wibbly line. And then if we click on sweep, it's going to ask us a couple of things. You know, it's a new model, so we want a new solid. What face do you want to sweep? We want to sweep the circle, and then the sweep path goes red. OnShape, if you're watching, please make it so that automatically selects, because that's quite annoying. You've got to select it, and then we select the wibbly wobbly line, and then after some time we get a preview, and it looks pretty cool. You can see it's literally extruded basically our circle all the way along our wibbly line. That's how sweep works. We hit OK. That's it. Let's turn off those planes so that we don't get them in the way. And you can see it does kind of like crazy things where the curve is too tight for it to go around. So if we right click the sketch 2, which is our curve, and say edit, we can then manipulate these points to wherever we want them. Let's change that and press OK, and it updates. So you've got quite a lot of power. You could also edit sketch 1 and kind of like change its diameter. Let's make it really teeny and go OK. So if you wanted the model stuff with wires in it, you could use sweeps to put wires in. Play with that, see what you think. It's pretty awesome. Right, let's just delete all of this stuff and let's start with something else. Let's turn these back on. So next we're going to look at lofts. Lofts are a way of connecting one shape to another shape. So what I'm actually going to do for this is, itchy nose, I'm going to create a sketch on, let's say, the top plane. I'm just going to have a rectangle from there. Oh, whoops. From there out. Doesn't matter what size it is. Okay, so that's our first sketch. And then our second sketch wants to be in line with the first, but it wants to be higher up. And currently we can't do that. So what we have to do is we have to put another plane in. So there's a tool for that. It's called strange enough plane. We click plane. We click the plane we want. We say we want it to be, oh god, there's a lot of options, but we just want it to be offset, and we want it to be, say, 100 millimeters up from that plane. And there you go. There's our new plane. It's 100 millimeters up. So if we now click that plane and draw another sketch, it kind of gets a bit weird, because you know you've got to try and work out where your planes are and be a little bit thinking about it. I mean, you can turn off the other plane so you're just working with that plane, but we're going to sketch a polygon, and I want to look at it from the top, so I'm just going to click top, and somewhere in here I'm going to put some kind of crazy polygon shape. That'll do. I'm not bothered about sizes or constraints or anything. So as you can see, I'll turn that plane off. As you can see, we've now got two sketches a distance from each other. And what we can do is we can loft them together. So we want to loft that profile to that profile. And as you can see, it does some pretty weird stuff. Mainly because the rectangle has 4 points and the polygon has more than 4 points. So what we can do is we can, I believe, can we move that position? Yeah, we can click the corners and it does pretty crazy stuff. Let's just try and get this somewhere better. So the start profile condition can be normal too. The end profile condition can be. You can do all sorts of pretty weird stuff with this. I honestly thought we could move that point, but it just goes into the selection for some reason. Let's just get rid of it all. It sometimes takes a little while to kind of like get the shape you want. That's got quite a nice lump of curves in it and stuff. Let's just see if we can modify this first rectangle first, just by dumping some points on it, just to add more points to it. Did that have any effect? It didn't seem to have any effect. Maybe we have to trim the lines out a bit. Let's get rid of these points and let's put some lines in. So you might have to break up the line so you've got just kind of more points in it. Let's try that. There we go. So it's probably a good idea to match the number of points you've got in each of the sketches, but that's pretty much what Loft does. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with Loft. Let's just show you something else quickly with Loft, because Loft is one of those pretty good things. God, what's wrong with my nose? It's really itchy. So I want to sketch just a rectangle here, and I'm going to extrude that rectangle down just by some random, and then I'm going to create another plane, and I'm going to offset that plane by 50. Let's just lash in 50, and then I'm going to create another sketch on that top plane. It's going to be a circle this time. Let's try and get it in the right place, about there. And then I'm going to extrude that circle up. So if we turn off all the planes, that's it. So we've got something that looks pretty weird. They're different colours because it's a multi-bodied part now, because they're not joined together. We haven't merged them. So what you can do is you can loft literally between a square and a circle, but they don't have to be sketches. They can be solid faces as well. And as long as we have merge with all checked, there you go, it all turns the same color and we've got the same thing. So that's how Loft works. It's really nice. You can get some pretty cool shapes with it. I'm going to leave this on the screen for the minute just so that we can look at fillets and things. So what we're going to do now is look at fillets and chamfers. Now these do the same thing, apart from fillet adds a rounded edge and chamfer adds a flat edge. So I'm actually going to put a hole. No, I need to sketch first. I'm going to put a hole in here. Let's wake up the center point. There it is. Right. And I'm going to extrude it, cut that hole, remove, and I'm going to say through all, because I can't. Right, so we've got pretty much holes through it. Right, now, if we wanted to make this so that that was a hole for a countersunk screw, we could like draw a triangle on it and revolve it round, or we can just add a chamfer. So what edges do you want to chamfer? That edge. And how big do you want the chamfer to be? Let's say 10 millimeters. That's pretty huge. Let's say 4 millimeters. Let's say 3 millimeters. That's better. Okay, and now we've got, I don't really want to show the hidden edges and stuff. What I will do is when I'm finished, I'll do a section view so we can see what it actually has done. But what that is, that's now a 4 millimeter deep or a 3 millimeter deep straight edge into that hole. So you can now put a countersunk screw in there. Now fillet works the same, but fillet is a round. So if we click the edge, and you see it's put like a rounded over edge on there. We can make that 10, and we can make the end of that pretty rounded. You could also fillet or chamfer these edges, and you can see it automatically, you can multiple select, and it automatically like blends the edges in. I'm losing control of the screen here. So you can see very quickly you can get a pretty I'm not going to say an organic shape, but a better shape for 3D printing, because obviously rounded edges, just using fillets and chamfers. Now, one last thing, just to keep in the spirit of 3D printing, if we chamfer this bottom edge here, then we make it 15. No, it's too big. We make it 10. That's still too big. We'll make it 8. That's still too... Can we make it 5? Yeah, we're going to make that 5. So now we've got a 45-degree edge all the way around the bottom of our part. And as we know with a 3D printer, you can climb 45 degrees. So you could use chamfer to kind of like take out the edge, like a square edge of your 3D printed model, to allow it to be 3D printed in a different location. I'll just put a fillet on the inside of there as well. And now I'm going to add a sketch to this face. I'm just going to cut the thing in half so you can see what it looks like. And it's literally going to be the crudest cut in the world, because all I'm going to do, that's probably not going to show everything. Let's just edit that sketch. Let's take that relationship away from there. Let's just drag it out. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm not allowed to. I'll drag it that way. Let's just put another sketch in. It's probably the quickest way. That'll do. And then if I extruded cut, so I want to remove that and that, and I want to go through all. I want to merge with all probably. Oh, I've missed a bit. I want to get all of that and that. Right, there we go. So now I've literally just chopped it in half, so you can see. If I can get back control of the screen, you can see. There we go. That's the chamfer. It's got the 45 degree into the hole. That's the fillet on the outside to round the edge over. That's the chamfer on the outside, so you could 3D print that now. And that fillet on the inside, you would have difficulty 3D printing this bit, but this bit wouldn't be a problem. That's fillet and chamfer. They are really, really good features for adding, just breaking the edges on your shape and just making it better to look at. So finally what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how shell works. Now shell basically means it hollows something out. So if we sketch, no, not extrude, sketch. If we sketch on this point here, oh sorry, on this plane, that's right. We sketch a polygon, let's make it big, and let's give it 5 sides. And then if we extrude that up by some amount, there you go, we've got something that's pretty weird. Let's turn these planes off again. I'd like a shortcut button to hide all the planes. That'd be nice. Right, so if we wanted to now make that solid, sorry, hollow, it is solid, we want to make it hollow, we could kind of like sketch on the top plane, offset the, and then extrude, and it's a bit of a pain. So we can press shell, we can say we want the walls to be 2 millimeters thick and we want this top face to be removed. And it instantly makes that hollow, and this bottom face is whatever thickness we decided, and this side face is whatever thickness we decided. Now it's really cool because what you can do, if you think, oh well, I need to add some fillets onto there now, let's put some fillets on this outside edge. No, not there, there. And let's make them 10 and press OK. Okay, we have to go and fillet the inside now. That's a bit weird. If we move the fillet above the shell automatically incorporates the fillets into the wall thickness. So that's really nice. We can get some really cool stuff going on with that. We could even edit the fillet and click this face. Clicking a face with fillet selects all of its edges. Be careful with that. I like to just click the edges. But now what you can see is inside, it's even dished the inside in. So that's fillet and chamfer and shell and loft and sweep. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. The next video is going to be assemblies. They get pretty interesting, but there's a couple of things we need to talk about. But that's it for now. So as usual, I've been Steve. Thanks for listening.